Hello everyone, welcome to Dove and Serpent Tarot. My name is Paul. This is your daily tarot one-card collective reading. Trying to do them daily anyway. I might miss a day here or there. You'll have to bear with me, all right? Remember to hit the like button, leave a comment, consider subscribing to the channel, especially if this reading resonates with you. It's totally free. It doesn't cost anything. If there's anything you would like me to pray over or meditate upon or send positive energy toward, please let me know. Now, of course, this is going to be a general one-card reading, so try to be open and receptive to whatever may come through during our time together. I am merely the messenger. And I ask you to try to connect directly with this card and use your own intuition to take you beyond the details that I might provide. All right? And remember that the most important part of any tarot reading is you. And of course, it's the Nine of Cups. Probably my favorite card of the tarot pack, right? It's not much to look at. Seems simple, right? Just a bunch of cups. But this is really the foundation of our life. This is kind of the beginning and the end of the work, you know? This is the dream that keeps on dreaming. This is the happiness that keeps on happening. This is the pursuit of happiness. This is following your bliss, right? It's an odd number. It's a 9, so it's a function. This is the art of living our lives, right? This is how it feels to be living your best life, not to have your best life. It's not an object that we can obtain. It's a way of life. It's a Tao, right? It's a method. It is, it's a card that reminds us it's not what we're doing, but how and why. So it's kind of it's kind of confusing, I guess, because it does matter what you're doing, because what if you're doing something that just does not feel all that fulfilling? What if you're doing something and you don't know how or why you're doing it, right? It's just something robotic. It's something we're just living this way, but we're not experiencing that life, that activation. We're not feeling awake. We're not feeling inspired. We're not feeling fulfilled or satisfied in any way. Well, then something needs to happen. There needs to be a change. Either we change how we're looking at what we're doing. Maybe we're too focused on the physical, materialized aspect of what we're doing. And I just don't like the shape or the color of what I'm doing, you know? I don't like how it looks, you know? Rather than asking ourselves, why am I doing this? Is there some sort of satisfaction that I'm gaining from whatever activities I'm involved with? Sometimes it's just a simple fact that I don't like what I'm doing. I got to do something different. But other times, we may be looking at the goal incorrectly. We may be looking at something from a more superficial vantage point and thinking, I'm not satisfied unless this is 24 karat gold, right? And that's the only thing that I'm going to enjoy is 24 karat gold, right? Or whatever metaphor you want to use. Oops, that is the wrong button. There we go. There's a certain feeling we get when we know we're living our life the way, I guess kind of the way we're meant to, right? And I'm not saying that pursuing material things is wrong or somehow unsatisfying or unfulfilling. It can be very fulfilling, right? You know, I love kind of getting new toys. I love getting new tarot decks. I love things. Of course I do. I have my favorite foods. I have the favorite things that I like to look at. I like certain types of art and certain types of music, you know. But if I wasn't experiencing the fulfillment or the satisfaction or the pleasure, why am I going to keep listening to the same song if I'm not enjoying it, right? Why am I going to keep eating the same kind of food if I'm not enjoying it? Well, sometimes the things we pursue in life, the goals that we have, or the things that we choose to interact with are means to an end, right? A lot of us have to do things that we don't necessarily love doing because it's in service to that higher pursuit of happiness, that higher fulfillment, okay? This card is about the absolute kind of living of your best life, right? Physical health and wealth down here at the bottom, mental, emotional right in the middle, and creative, spiritual up at the top, right? And sometimes we feel pleasure in one of these realms, but not the other two, maybe 2 out of 3 sometimes. But to have all 3 is really an attainment. That's really what life is all about, getting this 9 of Cups. We get a 3 of Cups, great. We get a 6 of Cups, even better. A 9 of Cups, though, I mean, it's almost a perfect 10, right? Almost a perfect 10. So I think this card today really is asking us to kind of sit back. At the end of the day, sit back and look over what you've done with your day. What were your activities? All right, were you driving? Were you working? Were you making phone calls? Were you doing paperwork? Were you reading books? Were you taking care of people? Or, what were you doing with your time? And how do you feel about that? We're not judging. If you are out there, just making money so you can get that 24 karat gold, that's something, right? And we don't want to judge that. What we want to do is be aware of how much time we spend doing different things, doing our activities, right? And let's try to put them into one or more of these areas. Is it purely kind of physical health and wealth, material stuff? Is it kind of a mental, emotional thing? Or is there a higher creative, spiritual purpose or pleasure or satisfaction that's involved there? And we're not judging, right? I think all of us at some point or another, even in one particular day, we might do something in each of these realms. There are things that we can kind of place into any of these categories, more than one category. But let's just be aware how much time we spend in which level of being, right? And how we feel about that. Okay? And when we talk about feeling, when I say, well, how do I feel about that? That's us making a judgment, right? I spent my entire day just doing kind of physical activities that didn't really have much emotional connection with, and I don't feel it was really serving me in any kind of creative way. I was just doing whatever kind of manual labor just to get a paycheck or something. And I don't feel that great about that. We're putting a judgment on it, right? Because maybe we either need to find ways to activate these other 2 levels or find a way to use this manual labor. Let's say you're just out digging ditches, right? Let's find a way to use that activity to fill these other cups as well, right? And that's where we got to start getting creative, But for right now, let's just ask ourselves, 1, are we living our best life? I think most of us are going to say, kind of, but I mean, not all the way, right? So let's ask ourselves, what are we doing in our day to help us get closer to our best life, right? Everything has to be connected with that kind of highest goal. And then if we have this kind of highest goal, like my aspiration is to live my absolute best life, fulfillment and satisfaction and abundance on all levels of my being, then if I'm just out digging ditches, I'm going to find a way to make that a creative spiritual practice. I'm going to develop some sort of mental, emotional satisfaction from that, as well as the kind of physical, I'm strengthening my body or whatever it is. So the 9 of Cups it's very simple, but it's also a very complex card because we have to be willing to look at how we spend our time and our days, right? And maybe we write it down. Maybe we start to journal and we get this idea, am I living my best life? What am I choosing to do with my energy and my time and my space? What am I choosing to do with it? And I think it'll help us to economize our time a little bit. But it might also help us to appreciate what we do in different ways. Okay. There's a lot of gratitude in this card. There's also a lot of this kind of introspection where we have to be willing to look at what we do. Are we wasting a lot of time and a lot of energy doing things that are not satisfying to us on any level, let alone every level, right? Anyway, good card. Love this card. I want to thank you for being here as always. It is my pleasure and my honor to be able to read these cards for all of you. Don't forget to hit the like button, leave a comment, let me know where in the world you're watching from. I thank you and I love you, and we're all in this together.